Welcome to Final Verdict. I'm Bell.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Plouffe.
And did you know, listener, that if you're listening on Spotify, you can give your final verdict on these albums if you're listening along?
You can also tell us, give us feedback, because now that's another feature that's on Spotify.
Plouffe, you tell them an interesting fact about Spotify.
I don't know anything about Spotify. That's the interesting fact.
That is pretty interesting. And
you can listen to us on Spotify.
You can. And you can listen to this episode where we're talking about Gordon by Barenaked Ladies.
Oh, that's not the one I made the notes for.
Sheesh.
Oh,
well,
God.
Guess what? First of all, your first note, it should be that it's not the Barenaked Ladies. This is another band I want to put the in front
BNL,
of.
baby.
It's BNL,
yeah.
which is also weird because Barenaked is one word.
Yes.
Well, and then they treat it like it's three.
They sure do. So if you're Googling them, you have no clue who this is because you're not Canadian. Barenaked is one word. Ladies.
They have their own fandom page, like their own fandom wiki.
That makes sense.
I'm not surprised. They got really
big
big for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these guys are truly a Canadian treasure. And this is their first studio album and was released over 30 years ago, back in 1992. I got to say, what a debut album.
Yeah, it's long.
It is. It's a lot longer.
You can
than
tell
I
it was
thought.
written for CD.
Yeah, I picked this and then realized how long it is. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of tracks.
Is it 2 LPs?
It is. It is 2 full LPs.
Yeah,
at an hour long.
And it's
Sure
not.
is.
It's not even that there's too many tracks too. A lot of them are like 4 plus 5 minutes. You know,
And
so which is okay, but that's
some
definitely...
of BNL's like most memorable songs are from this album.
Yeah.
Like, most of these are actually very, very high quality, and I can't.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I could see cutting, but most of these I'm like, yeah, these are full album ready songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's interesting to think about because they also had 3 EPs before this album came out, and a lot of the tracks here appear on those EPs, and in fact, some of them appear on all 3 of their EPs.
Yes,
Cool.
You can tell if I had $1 million, they knew it was going to be big because it's been on everything they've ever released.
And Crazy, I think, is on all of them.
Yeah. But if you don't know who Barenaked Ladies is, they consisted at the time of 5 members. Lead singer Stephen Page, lead guitar and secondary vocalist Ed Robertson, double bass player Jim Cregan, drummer Tyler Stewart, and keyboard/percussionist Andy Cregan. And I say at the time, as Andy Cregan wasn't actually super interested in being in the band from the start and left shortly after their second album, Maybe You Should Drive. And Stephen Page left the band in early 2009 after being arrested for cocaine possession in 2008.
Dang, really?
Yes. So apparently they'd kind of been drifting apart and him wanted to do his own thing anyways.
Yeah.
But that happened right after the release of their children's album.
Oh,
so they release
my
a children's
God.
album. They're doing like all this press stuff. He gets busted for that.
It's right after the Big Bang Theory's theme song got done too.
Yeah. So like they were doing really well, and then that happened. It was just kind of like a time where it's like clearly things are drifting apart, and the band allegedly, from past interviews, was like, "So you're done here, right?" Because obviously that's pretty big issue. But hey, I think it's a huge loss. Though Barenaked Ladies is still around and makes albums and tours, Stephen Page's vocals are pretty extraordinary and take these songs to the next level. They do. He does make music solo.
Okay.
He does.
Is it any good?
Yeah, it's definitely not a lot. Like he does not release music super often, but he is a very, very talented musician, and it's kind of sad to have lost this kind of quartet style of singing with all the harmonizing. I think it really, really enhances his music. And I've seen Barenaked Ladies live since he's left, and Ed Robertson does all of the singing, and they do very well. But it's not the same.
No, yeah, he has a very distinct voice, Stephen Page. Yeah,
I gotta say, you can really tell that they're a quintet on this album.
A lot of harmonizing.
Because there's a ton of harmonizing, and it's all really clean. Like they come together very well across the whole thing. Is something I found. It's you can usually pick apart instruments in a song, and you can still do that here. But these guys really come together in a really good way throughout most of the tracks, at least.
And the band started off as a duet, or like a duo rather, with Stephen Page and Ed Robertson, right?
Yeah, so they actually knew each other back since grade 4. They weren't really friends until they exited a concert. I can't remember who it was, but they left a concert and realized they were at the same Harvey's, and they're like, hey, I know you, and became friends and started going to concerts together.
That's cool.
And even the name Barenaked Ladies is actually from them going to a Bob Dylan concert, and they were like pretending to be all these pretentious music reviewers and like, oh, the opening band, Barenaked Ladies, was so fancy, blah, blah, blah. And Ed Robertson signed them up for a Battle of the Bands contest in Toronto.
Wow.
And his band at the time was like, no, we're not going to do it. So he hit up Stephen Page and was like, let's enter. They never practiced, entered it, and did really well to where they were actually asked to open for a different band.
Oh.
And then they proceeded to not rehearse at all and just do concerts of just riffing and playing any songs they mutually knew. So that's kind of where this comedic, as you see in some of the songs, like If I Had $1 Million, a lot of it's just like riffing and talking and being funny, because that's just where they found success. They're like, why change that, right? And now, even though I'm sure they practiced their music or did at the time, they still kind of kept that shtick. And I myself have been listening to Barenaked Ladies for ages. They're my first real concert. I say real because I saw Weird Al at State Fair in Yakima.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Very cool. But this was my first like paying for a ticket and going and seeing them. Blast. And I've met Stephen Page. Very, very nice man.
Did he offer you cocaine?
Well, I was a little underage, but I guess I should just say no. No, he did not. And I remember getting my dad to burn their music onto mini discs from him.
Wow, you had a mini disc player?
I did, and a lot of the songs were from this album and Stunt, which was another great album of theirs.
I like Born on a Pirate Ship. That's my favorite.
Underrated. Yeah. What are your guys' experience with Barenaked Ladies? I'm sure you have something. We're Canadians.
Yeah. I was waiting for Jamie.
I guess not.
Okay, well, in university, my roommate was really into the Barenaked Ladies, and he was devastated when Stephen Page got arrested in Buffalo. He was for some reason he was living in like this crack house in Buffalo, and that's where he got arrested.
So he's doing all that cocaine.
Yeah, that was a rough period of time, but yeah, Barenaked Ladies, great band. Rock Spectacle is a great live album. I think I like their live versions of some of these songs a lot better than the studio versions. Like, for example, Brian Wilson's live, like the live version of that is a much better version of that song, in my opinion, at least. It's a great song regardless. I find it interesting because Barenaked Ladies was discovered or was signed or whatever because of that contest from that radio station. You gonna touch on that, or do you want?
Go ahead. Yeah, I have some information about it. But
so CFNY is a radio station in Toronto. It used to be a huge radio station for new music, and it's sort of whatever now. It's kind of like a corporate radio station now, but it used to be an independent station, and they used to do these things called Discovery to Disc, where a band would submit a tape, and then you would vote on it as a listener.
Cool.
And then they would win. At one point, it was $100,000.
Yeah, they won $100,000.
Really?
That was what they won in the
90s
contest.
or 80s.
Yeah, it was like 91.
Yeah, it would have been a long time
Yeah,
ago.
that's some good money.
So they won $100,000 through this Discovery to Disc concert through the radio station.
What song was it? $1 Million?
Oh, well, they submitted like a cassette.
I think it was "Be My Yoko Ono" was the one that.
Oh, was it just a song?
Yeah, it was like it was like they submitted the tape, but I believe the tape they submitted had "Be My Yoko Ono" on it. Yeah. And then they used that to go record this album.
Yeah, they were like local legends. Because what I was thinking with the cassette is that they were supposed to perform at this event in Toronto, but because their name was Barenaked Ladies, the mayor at the time was like, no.
Really?
This isn't going to happen. It objectifies women, which made them extremely popular because people all of a sudden saw them in the news.
Yeah.
They were selling out. They were
Yeah.
the top selling album, I guess, at record stores and music stores in Toronto for a few weeks because people were it was so in demand that like this band got in trouble and banned by the mayor and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it came out like the mayor was on vacation and like an assistant had made the call for them or something like that. It was something crazy.
Wow.
But they were just local legends. They win this contest, get $100,000, and then put this together.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're a Torontoite.
Sort of.
You're an Ontarioite.
Yeah.
Ontarioan.
And Ontarian.
You have a Barenaked Ladies tattoo.
Probably. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you where it is. But no, Barenaked Ladies was extremely popular for many years. They played a lot of events in Toronto. They used to do concerts at what is it, the square in Toronto where the big Toronto sign is. Nathan Phillips Square.
There you go.
There's a big skating rink there, and they used to do concerts while people were skating on this rink. It's in front of City Hall. And they used to play that like every year, and like they played Christmas music. They have a couple of Christmas albums.
They do.
Like they're a staple of Canadian radio.
Yeah, they have a lot of music. When Stephen Page was in the band, they had 11 albums. and they're up to 16 now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's crazy.
And yeah, it sounds about right. Like they play on radio stations that are multi-genre. Like I remember them playing on like the adult contemporary station my parents listened to.
Yeah, that's one thing about this album is it kind of jumps all over the place.
Yeah.
Some songs even sound a little bit like ska, to be honest.
Yes, yes they do actually.
Yeah, you were skanking around, listening to it.
Yeah, it's
He's just a skank.
I mean, I grew up with Barenaked Ladies because I'm a Canadian and I've heard a lot of these songs on the radio. I actually didn't expect to recognize as many as I did when listening to this album because I've never listened to any of their music directly. I've never tried to like find their albums and listen to them or anything. But yeah, I've heard them constantly growing up. And so it was a pleasant surprise to think like, I don't recognize any of these. And then as they play, I'm like, oh, I know this song.
Yeah.
Yeah. For like a good large chunk of them, actually.
Yeah, they definitely hit the CanCon requirement for.
Yeah.
Some of these songs are referential in the same way as like the Tragically Hip have songs that are
Totally.
about little tiny towns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these are also about musicians as well. So
Yeah.
Brian Wilson, Yoko Ono,
Yeah.
A New Kid on the Block. It's like, oh, wow, a lot of these are themed over certain things. But if you, listener, are not from Canada and haven't heard about them, that makes sense. As though they're very popular here in Canada, they didn't break out into the States until their 1998 album Stunt, due to the release of the song 1 Week, which you do know.
It's been
One week since you looked at me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that song.
that's a great song.
Chickadee China, Chinese chicken.
Well, he's going to get canceled.
It's a really good part of this. The whole song is pretty good though.
It is. But there isn't actually a ton of info about this album. Like, I looked at the Wikipedia page, very short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you, do you guys want to listen?
Sure.
Okay.
Hello, city. You found an enemy in me. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh no, here we go. Our life is one big fun. Oh no, here we go. As Yoko sings my 'cause I am crazy, just like you. I am crazy.
What an album. Man, I love Hello City. It's such a good intro to the album. The production value is also very high.
Yeah.
It kind of threw me that I haven't listened to this album in ages. Though Barenaked Ladies was my favorite band, since it was when I was so young. It's one of those things where as I got older, I was like, oh, I should listen to
Other
cooler music
yeah,
or
sure.
something more hip.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very impressed with the amount of instruments, the horns, the clarity and everything. Yeah, it's really cool. And of course, the fact that it's about how they hate Halifax. And I was like, that's cool.
It's about hating Halifax.
Yeah, like a lot of these, like the Palace and some of the other things they mentioned are actually venues. in
Locations.
Halifax.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I just want to go home.
Yeah. I like the line, it's 3 a.m. in the morning and I'm hungry, so let's eat. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It opened a lot better than I was expecting it to be. The bass is super simple, but I really like it. It even gets a little solo around 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it was a good opening track. Like, it actually really surprised me with how much, how impressed I'd be.
I like how much they poop on Halifax. I've never actually been to Halifax. I'm sure
Halifax
it's
is
a
nice.
city.
I've been a couple times. It's nice.
Yeah, the doo-wop and the bridge is short and sweet.
Yep.
The quiet breakdown in the third verse with the pronounced harmonies is a nice touch.
I will say the
it's cool.
first 5 songs on this album are very upbeat and easy to listen to. And this is a good, like, you just put the record in the groove or put the new, you know what I mean? You just started the record. It's like, oh, this is a good way to
Yeah.
start off this album.
I won't get into my verdict just yet, but I like the first side A like a lot more than everything
Where's
else.
the break on?
Yeah,
on
I'm curious,
this one?
especially with the 2 LP.
So it stops. Side A ends with Brian Wilson.
Okay.
Side B ends with King of Bedside Manor.
Okay.
next.
Side C ends with New Kid on the Block.
Right.
And
Okay.
then obviously
D is the
starts
rest.
with Blame It On Me and ends with Crazy.
Okay.
I also do like this because though it's not super negative, it does kind of start to prepare you for the fact that these songs are very upbeat, but the lyrics are pretty negative.
Sure.
Sometimes.
For a lot of the songs,
Yeah.
it's like, if you actually read or listen, it's like, oh, this is not, the things they're portraying are not really healthy or happy.
Yep.
Which I think is cool. Up next is Enid. I don't really get the intro.
It's a weird start.
I always took it as
yeah.
like a threat that you're enjoying yourself and your mom walks in the room.
It's the producer doing a impression of Depeche Mode.
Oh,
I've never listened to Depeche Mode.
really? I did not get that at all. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a giant Depeche Mode fan, but
It's the guy who does the producer doing an impression of what a weird, like a Depeche Mode from another planet
Right.
would sound like, or a dimension.
there's like a weird horn that sounds like a laugh or something in
Yeah.
there right at the end of it too.
Yeah, I never used to be a huge fan of this song, but re-listening now, I was like, wow, this is easily one of my favorites. There's just something about it that I really like.
There's a lot of production, like it's very clean, but at the same time I can really pick everything out really easily. So even though it's so layered, it's really easy to hear everything just kind of separated. And
More tasteful horns too.
yeah. I also like the reveal in the last bit that he's like 15 in the song.
Yeah, so it seems like it's about a
High school
relationship, and you're like,
girlfriend
oh,
or
it's just like,
something.
yeah, high school girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder it's like, oh, I was just so in love, even though
Yeah.
I didn't really come to terms with the fact we broke up, and why it's kind of unhealthy, and knowing that you've hurt somebody, and I don't know.
Yeah, I read that it was mostly about Stephen Page's first girlfriend,
That sounds about right.
and there's some weird parts of the song where it's like, I never really considered you a person, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure.
Well, when you're a kid, you have like main character energy, right?
Yeah.
There's a few lyrics like later. I can't remember which song, but he's like, "I wrap my hands around your neck," and I'm like, that sounds really violent. Like
Probably wrap your arms around me, but
yeah.
It's also, I mean, this is a top song chorus for me, and the bridge is super good. The Barenaked Ladies are really good at acing that fast, almost rap singing that you see in
Sure.
One
Ed
Week and all
Robertson
that
is
stuff.
real good at that.
So good, so good. And during the final verse and bridge, I like Ed is in the background singing about all the things he could do for Enid, but won't. So even though it's just like the regular chorus, you could hear him in the back like, I can teach you how to knit. I can make you crazy things out of Play-Doh. It's just like layered in the back that I'd never really heard of before when listening on crappy quality burnt CD, burnt onto another CD.
onto like garbage
copy.
headphones or something, probably.
Yeah. So I definitely enjoy it. After that is Grade 9, which is my least favorite track in the album.
I thought it was funny.
I understand why it's probably your least favorite.
I can't relate.
It's pretty juvenile. I remember hearing this one growing up in Canada quite a bit, largely in like school and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
a
juvenile,
dumb
but
song.
that's
Yeah.
it's juvenile, but that's kind of the point. I think it
It's
drags on.
It's from the point of view of
A grade 9 boy, yeah. If you added more trumpets, this would be a ska song, like hands down.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a little juvenile, but that's the point. It drags on too much, though. That's my only real problem. I think they could have cut out a little
This
bit.
is Jamie's childhood. Duran Duran and Led Zeppelin.
Sure. I didn't listen to either of those when I was in high school.
I don't know how
fun.
old you are when those albums came out. But
Well, the song references two different Rush songs, Tom Sawyer and The Spirit of Radio.
and Wrath of Khan.
It mentions
Yeah.
Wrath of Khan. It
Which is
also
not a Rush song,
references the tune to Linus and Lucy from the Peanuts cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yes, we do say grade first.
Yeah. We don't say 9th grade, we say grade 9.
Oh, yeah.
In the States, they say 8th
10th grade?
10th
Oh,
grade,
I hadn't
9th
thought
grade.
about that
We say
before.
grade 9, grade 10,
Yeah.
grade 11. Weird difference for some
And
so
then
close.
in England, don't they say year 11?
Yeah.
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 It's a little different. Oh, well.
And then the epic song, Brian Wilson. I have never looked up what it meant before now. I had no idea why they were referencing Brian Wilson until like earlier this week.
Brian Wilson was a famous musical recluse from the Beach Boys who went,
Crazy?
well, he didn't go crazy. He has mental health issues that are probably hereditary because his father was like a paranoid schizophrenic.
Oh,
real piece
yeah,
of
that'll
garbage.
do it.
Yeah, and extremely abusive. But then he got treated by this psychiatrist that later lost his license because he
total psycho.
like locked him into his like house and made it so that he never came out and like
Yeah,
hopped him up
forced him
on
to make more music. He even ended up making a band with him.
Yeah.
Like, it was really weird
the
stuff.
hell?
But he got his weight under control because Brian Wilson was 300 pounds at one point. Is referencing the
Oh,
song,
jeez.
Yeah.
and got it back under control. But it was like locking him in a room, hitting him, secluding him from his family.
Yeah, making it so that other people couldn't come and visit him ever.
I did not know
Yeah.
any of that.
He never attended the funeral of his brother after he died because
Dang.
like the doctor was like, oh, you don't want to get together with your family. They're all toxic.
Yeah, but it's wild because like this song came out like 15 years after that happened.
Well after that.
So it's like, I guess that's long enough, but it's weird to like directly make quotes to things that happen. Like he even says, Dr. Landry,
Dr. Landry.
don't tell me you're not just a pedagogue and stuff like that. Like he directly calls out things that happened to
Yeah.
Brian Wilson, and he's like, Yeah, I pretty much had the same thing happen. It's like, well, probably not.
What's interesting about it is that it's almost like an admission that Stephen Page knows that he's mentally ill, because Stephen Page is extremely bipolar, and
Who knows about extremely? But he did come out in 2011 as having bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
Maybe he foresaw it coming, like he said.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, just a crazy coincidence. Yeah.
But I think this song is one of their most famous and beloved songs, and for good reason, because it's very well produced, and every member gets a chance to shine. There's great vocals, great guitar, there's a bass solo, there's fire bongos, and it all just kind of comes together in this really well. I don't listen to the Beach Boys, but there's a ton of references.
There's a number of Beach Boys songs referenced in it. They reference "Fun, Fun, Fun," which is a great Beach Boys song.
I would love a list of like catchy or very popular songs about horrific events.
Sure.
Like that Foster the People song.
Pumped Up Kicks.
Pumped Up Kicks, yeah.
Sure.
Because, man, the story was, I got into a little rabbit hole reading all about it, and I was like, this is wild.
Yeah, it's insane. There's a really good documentary about him.
My only problem is that it comes like right after grade 9, and it's just such a weird tonal shift to go
grade 9
from.
has a different production value too. Like, it doesn't sound as good.
Yeah. So that's kind of my only issue. The whole album, I really feel like they should have cut just like 3 songs,
100%.
maybe 4 or 5 to like kind of trim it down.
You could tell that they had a lot of material that they wanted to get out there.
It's like they had enough for 2 short albums, and they didn't know what to do, so they just jammed it together into 1 long album.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good song though. Yeah.
The live version of this song is incredible.
Does he still do that like weird floaty effect when he talks about
300 pounds?
Yeah, that's cool. I like that part.
I have to watch the live version.
Yeah, it's off Rock Spectacle, which has the video on it.
I also really want to listen because Brian Wilson has covered this song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So I'd love to see that as well.
Yeah, Brian Wilson's cover of this song is pretty good. It's not very long. It's like a minute and a half. He covers it before he starts another song. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I like the almost kind of flamenco guitar at the end during the bass solo.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
That's pretty good.
And then it goes into another musician focused song, Be My Yoko Ono.
So is this, I don't know if it was referencing it for sure, but is this referencing the Chuck Berry thing where they were singing with, they're playing Johnny Be Good or something, and have you never seen this? Chuck Berry and John Lennon are playing like music on
yes, it is.
Some show or something. Yeah, that's what they're...
He like looks over because she's going, and they keep muting her mic.
Yeah,
it's like
you can see her like confused because her mic is off. Okay, I thought so, because he does a little like halfway through the song or something. And I was like, they've got to be talking about that part.
Yeah, they are. So this was my favorite BNL song as a kid, as I was a huge Beatles fan. It's still very catchy.
Yeah,
it's definitely not my favorite anymore.
Sure.
It's just a bit much.
Yeah. Sean Lennon, so that would be the son that John Lennon and Yoko Ono had together, saw them live and sent one of their tapes to Yoko Ono.
Hilarious.
And she liked that song.
Oh my God. Really?
And then in an interview, she said that she liked this song, but she preferred if I had $1 million more.
I mean, it makes sense because they're like, stop blaming Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
Like, I would have done the same thing. If you're in love with somebody and have this muse, why would you like give that away? It's like, yeah, that's fair.
And then in the music video for this for this song, Yoko Ono sent in a whole bunch of clips to the band to use.
Oh, that's cool.
So she approved of this song. I don't know. Sean Lennon's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's on Lennon Claypool
Full
Delirium.
Delirium, yeah. In fact, both of the Lennon brothers have played together before too.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, that's fun. Anyway, I like this song. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think the lyrics are funny. It's kind of a ska song.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you and your ska?
Dude, this whole album, like, that's why
it's of that period.
Yeah, that's
very of that
early
period.
mid-90s. Yeah, exactly.
But what I don't like about this album is that if you're listening to it on CD, there is an incredible tonal shift between Be My Yoko Ono and Wrap Your Arms Around Me that is jarring.
Yeah, I can dig that for sure.
Listening to it on LP because because the LP,
side.
Brian Wilson already ended that one.
So yes, there's just a bunch of tonal shifts.
It does that throughout.
They just don't want
the
too
whole
many.
thing.
It looks like they just don't want too many slow songs in a row because they do Hello City, which is a bit slow, to 3 No, too fast songs. Too
Hello
slow songs,
City is
fast
upbeat
songs, slow songs.
sounding though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Wrap Your Arms Around Me, What a Good Boy, and The King of Bedside Manor are kind of like the...
King of Bedside Manor is extremely fast.
Yeah.
I hate that song. We'll get to that. But, yeah, the pacing is odd.
Yeah, it's very odd. Listening to Be My Yoko Ono after... Wrap Your Arms Around Me after Be My Yoko Ono and Brian Owen Wilson, which are two songs I really like. The song's Wrap Your Arms Around Me sucks after that. My only note is no one asked for a ballad from BNL.
I disagree, but I think that also helps in a way because it shows the range. I don't wish it were in this order, but it's interesting. I can't think of too many bands whose songs are so unique from each other while being obviously that band's songs. Like listening to Wrap Your Arms Around Me is very clearly Barenaked Ladies, as is Be My Yoko Ono, as is Grade 9. And those are very different songs from one another. Do I wish they were in a different order? 100%.
Sure. I usually associate them with their funny songs.
I
all
wish-
their hits are their funny songs.
Yeah, I wish it was two different albums. I wish it was like one more serious album and one less serious album, because it feels like there's such a weird dichotomy on the whole thing. And
Do we ever get to the bottom of why it's called Gordon?
I have no idea.
really,
Yeah, me
you don't know
neither.
either. Is it about Gordon Lightfoot or some shit?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it's about Gordon
because
Lightfoot.
they're really Canadians.
Because,
that's the only thing I can think of.
But
I thought one of the band members, but
no,
no, none of them are Gordons.
No.
Gordie
Couldn't come
Howe?
up with a reason.
Maybe they're hockey fans.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I can think of something or find something while we're going
sure.
through. But yeah, speaking of Wrap Your Arms Around Me, I like the song because like it's hard because it's pretty dark in tone and lyrics, where the previous songs had semi-dark lyrics, but more upbeat, other than I guess Brian Wilson, which is kind of just a little bit darker all the way around.
Yeah.
But this is somebody like missing somebody, but their previous partner that they had abused.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't seem healthy at all because it's like wrapping your hands around a neck, and he's like, "I'm so sorry for raising my voice."
Yeah.
And I mean, it could be a soft grip that's more of an embrace, but then he questions, "Do you believe we're all innately good?" Which kind of gives me
is
the vibe of
creepy.
like he's wondering if he's been born this
Totally.
way or he's in a phase where he feels broken. But again, I like that because I don't know, it feels like so many songs are just positive.
Sure.
And having that honesty, whether it's a character or not, I think is very neat. Again, no justification for the pacing though. It should not be after Be My Yoko Ono.
No.
It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I like the backing vocals and the quiet guitar. I mean, I think it's a cute song. It's just,
Yeah, it's cute, but it's dark.
I know. Like, I don't know. I thought he was being, like, incredibly aggressive, like, as I originally interpreted the lyrics, as he was strangling here, but maybe it's just not a great choice of, or it's the exact choice of words he wanted. I don't know. It's weird. It gives me, I'm torn, because, like, I like a lot of it, but then it's, like, just kind of too, and I like a lot of dark music, so I don't even know what it is about it that feels more real, because it's not so dark that it's like evil and fake.
I think it's the tone.
Yeah, maybe it's the tone. Maybe it's just like
And it's positioning on the record, so it's
it just feels weird. And spousal abuse is always like a really tough topic. That's a lot more real than like I'm gonna cut you into ribbons or what, like something that's just like stupid dark lyrics. It's more like, no, this is an examination of like modern society and whatnot. So I don't know. It's kind of long. The outro didn't need to be as long as it is, but I don't hate it.
a lot of the songs on the album are sort of long.
Yeah, like I said earlier, they're mostly like 4.5 to 5 minutes, if not a bit past 5. So yeah, most of them are fine though. They fill out. It's just a couple that I thought they dragged on a bit too much, whether it was a long outro or they just had an extra verse that I don't think they needed.
Yeah.
This one's okay. I like the song. It's just, unfortunately, it's like jarring when he gets to that point.
Yeah.
On the track.
The only thing I find about Gordon is that the liner notes of the album, which might be in here, I've actually just pulled the records out of the sleeve because they're like rotated, so you can just pull it straight out. There's a list of our favorite Gordons. And it's a pretty extensive list of people or things named Gordon that they like.
Gordon
so maybe they just
Lightfoot?
like
Where's the
name
list?
Gordon.
Where's the list?
Give me the list.
Well, it's on the interweb. But Commissioner Gordon from
Sure.
Batman,
Like
good
that
one.
guy?
Gordon Downey,
Sure.
Sure.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to get ones that people might know. There's a lot. Gordon Lightfoot is on there.
Cool. Everyone likes Gordon Lightfoot.
ton. There's some that are just
Okay.
unknowns. They must
Yeah.
just literally be people that
You
they
got
know.
Gordie Howe on there.
It's a hockey player.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Sure.
It's a big list.
Sure.
Truly,
Oh, okay.
Truly a big
Oh,
list.
geez, I didn't. I thought it was like 20 Gordons. You're telling me it's like 200 Gordons.
The Gordies that we know. Well, it follows up "Wrap Your Arms with Me" with "What a Good Boy," which is slower but more positive.
Yeah.
Kind of. It feels more positive.
It's a song about gender roles.
Yeah. And expectations placed in your life. So again, not super positive. I like the song and the message is all right, though I feel like it could have been a little deeper. I do like the first part of the song after the good boy, good girl section where it explains we've got these chains hanging around our neck. People want to strangle us with them before we take our first breath. So
Sure.
as soon as people know that you're a boy or girl, they have those expectations of, oh, she's so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so strong. Everything like that.
Even small stuff like put him in the blue outfit instead of the red outfit or the
Mm-hmm.
pink one, even though it used to be reversed. Boys used to wear pink.
No, it's
And this is a song where if you don't like Stephen Page's voice, you will not like the song.
Yeah.
fair. He does have a very distinct voice. This is another one where I think the live version is the stronger of the two versions.
It's a nice song, but I don't like the hair shirt bit. It's
I had
kind
to
of
Google
weird.
what that was.
Yeah, it's kind of weird in the
You
chorus.
never seen a hair shirt?
No idea what the hell he's talking about.
It's a shirt made out of hair.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't. It just
very
pulled me.
weird
Like I
reference.
liked it. I liked all the
Yeah.
lyrics. I was following along, and then he mentions a hair shirt, and I'm like, what the hell
That's
is
what
that?
poor people used to do.
Really, they make
Like
shirts out of hair?
Yeah, like in the early 1900s.
That fact
the-
needs checking.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. I like the verses quite a bit though. Like it's a good song still.
I like the hair shirt thing kind of because it's like something that makes you uncomfortable. So although she makes him uncomfortable, he doesn't want her to leave for the night.
Sure.
And then some people, I don't think this is what it is because it was the 90s, are saying like the name you're assigned makes you uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a fun kind of
Maybe.
idea for
Sure.
being trans or whatever. It's just like not feeling associated to this thing that you've been told you are.
Yeah.
But I really like Stephen Page's vocals, so I like the vocal forwardness of this song. And the high notes he hit perfectly to me. But I could see why people wouldn't like it. It's very unique.
So the live version of this song appeared on the single for Jane, which
Great
is
song.
off the next album, and then the one that gets radio play is off Rock Spectacle, which was their like original hit album in the States. It actually sold pretty well for some reason. Like, why would a live album sell well as their like breakthrough album?
I heard they suck live. I'm
Really?
kidding. I'm kidding. That's a NoFX
Oh,
album.
jeez. Got me.
It's their live album.
Yeah.
That's a good album name, but yeah, I'm just kidding.
It's really good,
Yeah.
actually.
And then we get the King of Bedside Manor.
I don't like this song.
I didn't like it at all.
I like the cartoon sound effects. I think it's a fun song. I think he's a pretty good lyricist throughout this whole thing, actually. And I like the pace, and it keeps it short. So even if you don't like it, it's only 2.5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
lucky
sure
me.
is.
Don't Marigato, Mr. Roboto. This is one of the grade 9, King of Bedside Manor. Actually, maybe that'd be it. Maybe those are the only two I would like for sure remove.
I
sure.
I'd take out Box Set, too.
yeah.
Box Sets, it also it fits the musician motif that a lot of these songs have, though.
Yes.
So that's the only reason why. But
and the
it is
struggle
it's not my
of
favorite
new
song.
fame, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden this. Well, we'll get to it, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like the next song.
We
We'll
have
get to it
established
shortly.
fans, now we have new fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like the King of Bedside Manor. I thought it was pretty funny how like
It's your time.
it is.
they're talking about how he's like great at everything, but it doesn't matter because he's still not good with the ladies. So
No.
I don't know. I thought it was funny.
What is interesting about this song though is that this song they recorded naked.
Completely naked.
They tried to record it several times, but
Couldn't do it.
And so everybody, including the producer and the other guy in the audio room, had to get naked. And now, ever since, they've recorded at least one. Well, they probably just record one song naked,
Why?
just to get like over nerves, because now keeps the pace up and everything going because you're naked and you're really conscious of it.
Yeah.
So it lets you just get out of your head because now you're focused on something different.
Sure.
So they buck naked,
Buck naked.
which
All
is
right.
a name of one of their EPs.
Yes, it is. And this song is just okay.
It is something. I do like the part where it's like sticks and then does Still Marigato because it's by Sticks.
I understood that reference too.
I didn't.
Oh.
They're very referential.
I just looked up the song because I was like, that's a good song. And I was like, oh, it's by Sticks.
Like
Come
Jamie, you probably will get this. Belle, I don't think you will. They're kind of like Bloodhound Gang in a sense.
Yeah.
With a lot of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Bloodhound Gang.
Do you actually?
That one song.
Okay.
The Bad Touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic. But yeah, like Jimmy Page, he's very referential and pretty clever with a lot of his lyrics. Like I'll give him that. He's a good writer.
And speaking of, up next is Box Set.
You say Jimmy Page, you mean Jimmy Pop.
I do mean Jimmy Pop.
I actually was
you're
wondering,
right.
I don't think Jimmy
No,
Page
you're
is
right.
that bad.
It's because of Stephen Page. Yeah, no, Jimmy Pop.
Classic move. Box Set is a fun Latin-inspired song, but a musician who suddenly becomes famous and selling a box set of, quote, all of his songs.
Yeah, I thought it was like almost
bad.
a bossa nova kind of vibe throughout the whole thing.
I liked it.
Is it too fast to be bossa nova? I don't know, but I really like the lyrics. It's a pretty funny observation of bands in the music industry.
I love the description of what the discs are. It's like the first one is
Yeah.
all the famous songs,
Yeah.
which you already have.
Yeah.
The second one is blank due to licensing issues, and the third is
Yeah.
a grade school play where you forgot all the lines.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's so good.
It's-
And then later, it's like discs 4, 5, and 6 are all also very, very bad.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, he loses all of his fans.
Yeah, it's
very
it's
fun.
so true for a lot of bands. Like the first few albums are great, and then they just fade off into obscurities. They try weird stuff. I like the one. This one's the dance album.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, it
Where we
goes
tried
a little
to
bit of
get
dance.
hip again or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about like a guy who is popular among a subset of people,
Yeah.
and then he becomes more widely known, and then he puts out like a greatest hits, and then that alienates all his old fans,
Yeah.
and then all his new fans are like, "Why can't you make more like the other one?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. Is the first song with really front-facing piano.
Yeah.
And man, it's so good.
It's good.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I like the piano.
It's too bad that they kind of lose the quintet aspect of the band as the albums go by, because I really do like how produced and kind of big band this whole album feels. You really like you constantly know that there's more than like 3 or 4 guys on stage, because there's always just so many instruments and sounds happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the guitar work.
Yeah.
The jazz
Yeah.
break in the bridge is very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's a funny, creative, and actually good song musically, which is important. I think it's underrated, but I could also see maybe it not being here, but I don't know. I like it. I think it fits here.
I think it's just a bit too long. That's it. That's it. They probably could have cut like one verse and it still would have got the point across, and I think it would have been good still. But
I do like the follow-up song "I Love You" because it's kind of a similar vibe change.
I hate this one.
I hate this song too.
I'm
My
not a
only
huge fan
notes
of
are
the song, but the pacing change.
Oh,
Oh.
sure. Okay. Yeah, okay, sure.
It's just like, I love you, please have sex with me.
Yeah.
And the other
Basically.
person is like, it gets more and more obvious the other person is very not interested.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, they actually dread when he's in town
Yeah.
knowing that they're going to be hit up. It's like, oh.
I thought,
Okay.
yeah, I thought it was okay, kind of boring and a weak song. I didn't think it was super clever or like terribly interesting, like I found a lot of the other tracks to be. Yeah, because the lyrics were pretty like straightforward, and he wasn't doing anything like funny or witty with it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. This one, the last half, there's definitely a few songs where I'm like, they should have just cut this from the whole album, in my opinion. And I'd put that on my list of cuts.
Yeah, I can see that.
My only note says, and then the next note says, it's about bumping uglies.
Wow.
I like the second bridge around a minute 53 and the outro with the quick singing or scatting. It fits perfectly with a little instrumental break that follows the second bridge at 2:20 and shows that, but, maybe should have just made a jazz album. The piano with the stand-up, I almost said bass. The stand-up bass riffs in this are a lot of fun and show
Yeah.
off the musical creativity. Even though I agree, this is the lyrics are not funny or interesting.
Stand Up Bass is that Primus album we listened to because of all the fishing references.
Ha.
Ah,
Good one.
see you later.
Have a good night, everyone. No. New Kid on the Block, another song singing about famous musicians. This one being about a member of the boy band New Kids on the Block, if you're like me and are too young to have listened to them.
They were popular in Canada at one point.
Yeah. It's not a bad song.
I thought it was also referencing. Does that one? No. Sorry, Blame It on Me. I think references Sebastian Bach. And I thought it was like referencing Sebastian Bach.
This one does.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause he's like, I am not Johann Sebastian Bach. Like, he's
Okay,
not a good
I thought it was
music creator.
referencing Sebastian Bach, who is a Canadian, but he's the lead singer of Skid Row.
Bach Turner Overdrive.
No, Bachman Turner Overdrive. Jeez. Anyway, I thought because that guy's name is Sebastian Bach, but he was referencing the composer, who is more notable.
Yes.
But yeah, it's more back to their usual style after Box Set and I Love You, which were fine. I think it makes it stand out more since there was a few genre change-ups in between versus if it was just like What a Good Boy to New Kid on the Block, it would have been pretty
Sure.
similar throughout it. Though I think maybe those songs in between could have just been cut.
It's an upbeat sounding song, but the lyrics are about how fame is dehumanizing.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just you're 23 and yet you still have to act like a teen. You want to be an adult and join the army, but that doesn't work. I like how he goes to sign up for the army and the person laughs at him. It's like, and it goes into the chorus. I think it's cool. It's like, you're the new kid on the block. Like, you can't join the army. That's ridiculous. Women scream and men groan when they see you. It's like, yeah.
My only problem is it's another one that it's okay. I just don't think it really fits. And I think it's not really adding anything at this point. But I really like the bass solo that's about halfway through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. This one's another one that I literally wrote, they could have cut this and I love you.
I like the lyric switch up because he says, most of it goes, I didn't ask to be famous, but I'm not sore. Like, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's like, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And it talks about staying up all night dancing and
word.
fighting, and the subtle
wordplay.
change kind of changed with that attitude of like all of a sudden he's drinking and fighting and partying.
Yeah, that's fighting around the world.
Making music or making movies and drinking beers and fighting around the world.
And then it goes to Blame It On Me.
This one's a nice song. I like the percussion.
There's a genius annotation on here that says it references the game Among Us.
It does, which is them clearly predicting.
Yeah.
Because they say there's a traitor among us at the very end of the song.
Okay.
Well, this guy's clearly not playing Among Us.
It's kind of
Sus.
yeah, like it's a good. I think it's kind of repetitive. I think this one's mostly popular because of the start. Like this one has a ton of plays on Spotify.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Here, I'll look it up.
It's just, I feel like it's underrated. It's catchy, and it shows that BNL can do a slower, jazzier song. I actually like the slower repetitiveness of the chorus and the lead singing, switching between Ed and Steven between verses.
Yeah.
Because Ed doesn't get a ton of airtime on this, which is surprising because in future ones he does get quite a bit.
Yeah, Ed Robertson really breaks out on the next two albums.
But I like it. And the bridge being like a fight between partners is kind of funny. And it's one of the songs I've been listening to the most since we listened to this album. But I have no recollection of ever listening to it before.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it.
It's not crazy. It's like 1 million, but then but there's like 4 songs before it that only had like a couple 100,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, no, it's decent. I don't think it's anything
it's okay.
spectacular.
Yeah.
Good. A little bit of a break. And then The Flag, which is a sad, almost shanty type song about an abusive relationship, physical abuse, bad sex, and lying.
And also references the GO Train.
What's the GO Train?
The GO Train is like the Sky Train.
In
So
Toronto.
it's commuter rail.
Sure.
It feels weird to have this and Wrap Around Your Arms Me with songs like New Kid on the Block and Yoko Ono.
That's my problem is like I really feel like they had 2 themes here and they just jammed it all together because like I really like The Flag.
Yeah, it's just really...
I just don't think it fits the album like at all. You know? So I'd like them to cut it from this album but then release a new album with this song on it.
The Flag appeared on one of their EPs previously. I know Crazy did.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just weird to be like... You'll realize eventually that when everything comes to an end that nobody won this. It's like, man, what a dark song.
Yeah.
And then it segues into...
If I Had $1 Million, right?
Which is
like
a great
I know,
song.
which is a good song, but it's another like really weirdly upbeat song. It's I don't know. I've got one real problem with the album, and that's it. It's just this constant up and down between like
tonal shifts.
Yeah.
My last note about this song is I do like the outro.
Sure.
Their harmonies are
Yeah,
just
they're
great.
good.
Fair.
Yeah.
And the drumming and everything like that. It's just that it is a huge bummer between such fun songs. But yeah, If I Had $1 Million, the song.
What a song.
The song for Barenaked Ladies.
Can't count
This
how
is
many
the
times I've heard
oldest
it.
Barenaked Ladies song. They used to play it when they were camp counselors.
Oh, yeah.
They used to
Oh,
play
sure.
it for kids.
That's a good
I like the
counselor
call and
song.
response part of the song. And I also like the reference to Dijon ketchup.
Dijon ketchup.
I loved this song as a kid. I don't like it now. It's whatever.
Oh, I think
It's a good catchy song for most people. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I don't know. I don't have much to say.
Good-
I've never
good
been
harmonizing on it.
Sure.
Yeah, I've definitely had my time with it.
Yeah.
I do like the fact, allegedly, that Not a Real Green Dress That's Cruel is actually just a flub, and they thought it was funny and left it in.
No.
Because he thought he messed it up with the line, Not a Real Fur Coat. And he was just like on autopilot because he goes, that not a real fur coat, that's cruel.
Yeah.
So he's like, not a real green dress, that's cruel.
Oh, that's
It was actually
funny.
like a genuine flub.
I didn't know
and
that.
they finish a song and we're like, that's hilarious. Like, that's got to be what it is now.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, God, this song's so good. Like I like saying like I'm gonna get some art, and then people will be like, "What? Like a Picasso or a Garfunkel?" That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's said that nowadays $1 million doesn't go that far.
No, it doesn't.
It's so sad.
So we're gonna take a
I
limousine
wish.
everywhere. We're gonna do all this stuff. We're gonna buy a house. I'm gonna buy you a car. I'm gonna buy you John Merritt's remains, which is feels
all them crazy elephant bones.
feels a little insensitive again.
The movie had just come out at the time, so the Elephant Man is a good movie.
I have no idea about it. I just looked at pictures of him.
He had
I'm like,
gigantism.
oh, he did.
Yeah, big boy.
Well, no, he had like the huge head.
I know.
right?
It was,
yeah.
it's weird to look pictures at. But yeah, it's very catchy, very fun, very cute.
It is.
I just have had my time with it. It's
Yeah.
it's like the Canadian staple. Like this
Yeah.
would play everywhere,
It's
every
like
time.
peak Canadiana. We even got them. Remember when we were in Vegas at whatchamacallit and at CES, and the one dude was playing stuff on stage, and we asked him to play.
Oh yeah,
$1 Million.
he just knew what it was. He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we all got it," because he's
Yeah.
from Saskatoon, or something like that. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I got you," and knew most of the words. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, solid. If you have not listened to Barenaked Ladies, like listen to this. Listen to Brian Wilson and Hello City.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like
Enid,
one
maybe.
week. One
Yeah.
week.
1 week.
But this is definitely stacked with their best songs and a lot of bad or not great
I like
songs.
Pinch Me. That's a good song.
Pinch Me is great. Same with Lovers in a Dangerous Time, which is a cover, but
Which a cover of
very,
a Bruce
very good.
Coburn song. Yeah. Or
Jane is great.
The Old Apartment.
Old Apartment's very, very good.
Yeah.
Broken to the Old Apartment.
Yeah.
Wow. But those songs aren't on this album. But the last song, Crazy, is.
Yeah.
It's another good song that I don't know if it fits the album.
This should have been the second last album, and if I had $1 million, should have been the final.
Second last song.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. If I had $1 million, should have
That's
been the
my only
ender.
note about this.
It would have been a
Yes.
bit of a better segue.
Sure.
I really
There
like
are
this.
2 hidden tracks inside Crazy too.
Yes, but still on the song. I really like the song. The guitar work is really intricate, and of course, the superb harmonies come out to shine. Mm-hmm. And it's just a fun song about being crazy.
Yep.
It's weird. It's like they had themes in mind, and then just came up with like 2 or 3 songs per idea.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like mental health comes up a few times. Musicians come up a few times.
Bad relationships.
Bad relationship comes up a
Yeah.
few times. But then they just shuffle the order.
Put it all
and
together.
put it all in one album.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe it would have worked if it wasn't shuffled and like the ideas were fully thought out and then it moved on, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brian Wilson could have been a good transition for the mental health one to musicians, and then maybe Yoko Ono went into the bad relationship side of things.
It's almost like each side of the album has its own single.
It's almost
So,
like they
like,
had a
Brian
ton
Wilson-
of EPs and then they
Yeah.
put an album together.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And they were all tape EPs. They sold them at
Yeah, they're all
shows.
Yeah, it's the right
Yeah.
time. Yeah, back in the 90s, late 80s even.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mid to late 80s. Yeah.
It's a good song though. Like that's the problem is I wouldn't cut them because they're bad. Like most of the time, there's a couple that I'm not crazy about, but it's usually I just don't think they fit. You know, that's the only problem with it.
Yeah, it's the tone. The musicianship is fine on all of them.
Yeah, they're good musicians, and I like his voice. He's a good singer.
Yeah, like between the two of them, I think I prefer Ed Robertson's voice.
Really?
But Stephen Page's voice is on more of the songs that I remember. Like he sings lead on The Old Apartment, and that's a banger.
Yeah, and he wrote most of the songs.
Yeah. But the album itself is fine. I think I enjoyed it more when I thought that they would all sound like the first 5.
What do you think about the bloopers on this one, though? Before we get too far ahead.
There's
The bloopers on the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a hidden track if you let it play it long enough. Of
yeah. The
Yeah.
last a little bit.
Outtakes.
Yes, because I was wondering. I was like, wow, there's like an extra minute here. What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
I just want the album to end.
Yeah, they could have just ended it. 100%.
Like I get that was a thing on CDs or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's like whatever.
Hidden tracks.
I don't
yeah.
want that.
Yeah.
It makes it like yes, some of the songs are funny, but it's not like a comedy album. I don't
No.
want bloopers on like I'm trying to name literally any other album on Danger Mouse.
Yeah.
I don't want bloopers at the end.
Yeah.
It's like I just want the album to end.
Yeah. There's a hidden track on Hefty Fine that
Yeah,
gets
there
me
is.
like every time Bam Margera shows up after like a minute. There's like a minute of silence or something, and he just shows up. It used to scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, it's like the mollusk. It has
Yeah.
that weird like clowny ending that matches the beginning.
Yeah.
That freaked me out because it was like a minute of silence to just like slow clown music.
Yeah.
Americana ends with "Pay the Man," and then a minute later
Yes.
it does like the
Dun,
mariachi
Yes,
version
yes.
of "Pretty Fly for a White Guy." and it scares the living piss out of you.
Yeah, because you
every
think
time.
you think the CD's done. I mean, I'm talking about CDs because we
Yeah.
had owned these as CDs as kids.
Because it's like 90 seconds of silence,
Yeah.
and then it's just like the mariachi
Yeah,
version
at
of a
full
song.
volume.
Yeah, full volume.
Because you didn't turn anything down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic. Well, Jamie, should we take a look at the record itself?
Yeah, let's do it, babe.
I almost told you to do your final verdict
Well, Jamie, what do you think?
of the record itself. So on the front we have Gordon in
Wow.
big text, and then almost a Pepsi logo that says Barenaked Ladies.
Yes, that is almost a Pepsi
It's
logo.
one of those balls, the rubber balls.
So what are those
The-
balls?
Like the
Pepsi ball.
the Pepsi ball.
Yeah.
On the inside,
Beepus.
you'll see it on the screen.
Beepus
If
ball.
you're watching on Spotify, you'll see it on your screen, so you'll know what we're talking about. On the inside, we have the gatefold image, which is 4 of the members dressed as astronauts, and then Ed Robertson dressed as a robot. Nope, an alien wearing a crown.
You know where that was taken? That picture was at the Science Center in Toronto. Because you can dress up in
Oh, yeah.
because they
You can
got
tell
that.
by the way it be.
He looks like old Greg there with the
He
green.
does. It's old Greg before he got all this stuff on his
He's
skin.
got a mangina.
Yeah.
On the back, we have a fuzzy Pepsi logo. It's been like blurred, like they took a blur tool and just like made
Yeah.
little waves all over it. And then it has the worst font you'll ever see. It's like Joker Man. It's really just an awful
That's like
font.
all the posters in Plouffe's house.
Really just awful fonts. And it's all lowercase, which I'm not a fan of. But that's just a small thing.
It's like all those notes that Plouffe leaves in the bathrooms at work. We have to keep wiping them off.
I always write all lowercase.
As for inside, we do have
Liner notes.
sleeves.
Oh, look, they got a giant one. Look, they got a giant ball.
Yeah, so we have
they're going bowling.
Lyrics to all the songs, listed choruses and everything like that, which is nice. The lengths, who it's written by, a photo of the band at a bowling alley,
Yep.
looking very 90s. Extremely 90s looking.
Yeah, because the one guy's got white people dreads.
He's got like the Counting Crow dreads. He is black though.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, or half. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. And Stephen Page looking off to the side. The other liner notes, because this is a double LP, is... Drum roll.
Okay.
Thank you. Just a nice boys photo of the band.
Wow.
Stephen Page looks nothing like he looks now. He looks like, these all look like just standard 90s boys.
They look so handsome.
He's wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs, but not the Toronto Maple Leafs that you would know, the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team jersey. Because the Maple Leafs predate the hockey team.
Yep.
Oh, this does have the list of favorite Gordons.
Oh,
Gordon
me.
Baker Road. I'm not reading the whole list. It is still very long.
that's a lot of
And it has a
Gordons.
fact. In 1942, Arthur Edward Page fathered a Gordon. In 1988, he became the Scarborough Seniors 5-pin bowling champion. Coincidence? We think not.
Incredible.
Another fact, in 1965, 4 years prior to the Apollo 11 5 years prior to Apollo 11, NASA launched a top-secret Scarborough 52 mission to planet, it's all in caps and in weird font, Nordrog. In 1992, Barenaked Ladies dressed in funny suits for a photo shoot. Coincidence?
I think
We think
not.
not. And then there's honorary Gordons. So a very fun liner.
Still doesn't explain why it's called Gordon.
Not,
There's just so many good
There's
Gordons
just-
out there.
there's just
And
a
this
lot
is
of
just
Gordons,
this is
yeah.
another good Gordon.
yeah.
In fact, how good is it, Jamie? Tell us your final verdict.
Well,
8 out of
hold on.
13.
Hold on. I got to know. How much did you pay for this?
Yeah, how much did you pay for this?
So I got it in an auction.
Oh, from the auction? The one we frequently reference?
Whoa. We don't mention that. That's
That's
a
our
secret
auction.
one. Yeah, so I got it in an auction, and I am very happy I did because I think I got it for $40, and it's worth about $300 now.
What the hell?
Yeah. So the cheapest one for sale is about $300, and the highest sale is over $300.
Did they just never reprint it or what?
I don't know, but I'm happy they did, and if they didn't,
Yeah.
because I'm happy to have it. I'm not going to sell it unless you will offer me a lot of money, in which case hit me up. But
Give
I
it
will
$300
not sell
for it.
it. Deal. Stonks, baby. So very, very cool.
How'd you know my price?
It looks like the 25th anniversary was the first time it was released on 180 gram vinyl.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah.
it is a rare release.
That album came out just at the end of the popularity of owning records. And like people were buying albums on cassettes
And CDs
and
and stuff.
CDs.
And it came out in 2017, which would have been the rising of popularity
Yeah.
of vinyl in the new mainstream with, a few years after would have been vinyl in Walmarts and
Yeah.
Target or whatever, but
Target.
would have been before that. So
Adele
yeah, I can see it
pressed
being
500,000 copies of her album and now they're showing up in Goodwill for $1.99.
And I'll buy it for that. I haven't listened to it, but for $1.99, that's a steal.
Can't go wrong. All right, now what's your verdict?
8 out of 13. I think the album is fine. I think the album has some good hits on it. I think some of the songs on it are better live on their subsequent live releases. I think the album is an interesting timepiece, especially for their career. And I think the story surrounding how they got to be able to do it is interesting. But I think too many of the songs on it are tonally different than what I would expect from the band, or what I want from the band, I guess is probably better. And too many of the songs are filler.
Sure.
For me to fully enjoy it. But I like most of it. So it's not like it's not a failing grade. It's not a 6 out of 13. It's an 8 out of 13. It's pretty good. But it's not amazing.
All right, I'm going to cut you off right here. Plouffe, what is your final verdict?
I also gave it an 8, but out of 10. I think the first half is really, really strong. But I think it's too long. Some songs should have just been straight up cut, or maybe the whole album should have been split in two. I'd really like to own sort of a condensed copy, like a greatest hits of this album. Of this album specifically.
Their greatest hits CD is insanely good.
I'm sure it is because, they're a good band. If I saw this in store at a reasonable price, I'd buy it just for the first disc. I'm not going to, I guess. But yeah, I think it's decent. Yeah, it's like an 8 out of 10. I'd score it higher if there were a few songs missing, and I'd score it lower if, I don't know, one or two of these just didn't hit as hard as they do. But I think that first half really kind of hooked me in, because I wasn't dreading listening to this, but I wasn't excited about it because, it's Barenaked Ladies. I don't expect anything super great from them, so it was actually surprising to see a few pretty good hits coming right out of the gate. So, yeah, it's like an 8 out of 10. So it's a good album. I think if it was a reasonable price, I'd buy it.
It is a good album. Rush, Nickelback, Tragically Hip, Great Big Sea. All great bands. But what?
Whoa.
But when I
tried to call Nickelback
when I think the best band. Canadian band, I think Barenaked Ladies.
Oh, you said Barenaked Ladies.
Sure. Since Steven's departure, the music hasn't hit the same highs as their earliest albums, but the fire, passion, and creativity bottled into this album is like no other. Though not every song is great, most songs on here really encapsulate the 90s for me and make this album an album that stands the test of time. And the dated references help with that. I'm going to put this in the 7th spot, above Leon Lahavas' self-titled album.
Interesting, because you like that
in
album.
Rainbows by Radiohead. Yeah. This is a really easy album to put on, and anybody will enjoy at least something that comes up in the time you put it on.
Sure.
Like, it's good for kids. It's good for adults. It's good for just being on the background. You can go in the kitchen. You can listen to it actively. You'll get something different from it each time, or depending on how you're listening to it. Mm-hmm. You'll either appreciate the lyrics and the wittiness and the puns, or you'll just appreciate the fact that it's fast and unique. But I could listen to this over and over and over again, other than King of Bedside Manner. It's because I could tell they're naked.
Oh,
wow,
you can hear
it in their voice.
I can hear stuff slapping around.
Yeah.
Hanging down.
So, though I think this album is great, share what you think, listener. And Jamie, share what we're listening to next week.
We're listening to Pink Floyd's 1975 album, Wish You Were Here.
Ooh, I've never listened to Pink Floyd. I feel like I say that every time either of you choose anything. It's like I've never even heard anything by them.
Will I do a two-peat on Bell liking an album that I have picked?
Who knows?
What does Bell like about music?
Find out next time on
Final
Verdict.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.